Rule books are easy to follow, but what about following from a place of relationship? Hi everyone, and welcome to Let's Win, where you'll receive God-filled encouragement that will help you live and lead with a victory mindset. Today we're talking about rules versus relationship. And I think it's a very well-known, familiar tension, but I felt reminded about that this morning and just prompted to dig our fingers a little bit into this. We know this so well, that God comes and He writes His ways on our hearts. He comes and He imparts into our hearts. He writes His laws onto our hearts. How does He do this? Through relationship, through us leaning into Him, through us being obedient to Him, through Him answering our prayers and us having a testimony. That's how He comes and He writes His ways on our hearts. But how many times have we found ourselves leaning into wanting a rule or wanting a specific recipe or a way of doing something, or forming a habit and staying and sticking to that habit because this habit or this recipe or this way of doing things will ensure X, Y, Z. How many of you have thought, if only I do this and this and this, I'll have this outcome. If I follow this rule, I'll be okay. God will come through. If I if I attend X, Y, Z, this will happen. And we find ourselves relying on a way of doing things simply out of habit or ritual or past experiences, the way we've been brought up. And we rely rather on those things to have relationship with God rather than leaning into Him from a personal relationship. And that's where I want to stand still a bit today. What happens, we can carry on with those things. We can carry on with those habits. We can carry on with those rituals or those rules or those recipes, 3 steps to 4 steps or 4 ways of what. And we can carry on ticking those boxes and go through our Christian walk in that way. But what happens is our spirits become numb. When our spirits aren't activated and we're operating in a place of reason and head knowledge, our spirits are not activated, our spirits become numb. Think about it. If you sit on something, if you keep something still for a long time, it becomes numb because it's not being activated. And what happens is we miss what the Spirit is doing in the room. Something can be said from the front or in any space you find yourself, or even in a worship song, the Holy Spirit could be moving, but it's going right over our heads because our spirits aren't catching it. Our spirits have been numb. They've not been activated, and we miss it. It goes right past us, and someone next to us might be weeping or like just having this amazing experience, and you're yearning for that, and you're not understanding why this is having such an impact on someone else, but you're missing it. And it's often because our spirits have just been numbed because they've not been activated because we're trying to work and reason in our minds. For many years, I tossed and toiled with a concept. I wrestled with this idea in worship times or when I'm spending time in the Lord's presence. This idea of the Lord coming to fill me up. We would sing songs, many songs we would do that say, God, fill me up, I want more of you, I want more of you, I want more of you. And I struggled with this idea. I struggled to sing it because I couldn't get my head around something. A pastor, this is what happened. So it wasn't always this way. As a youth and as a young lover of Jesus, I would yearn, I would cry out of my heart, and I'd say, Lord, I want more of you, come fill me up, come fill me up. I would be able to sing it from my heart, and I would feel the Spirit meeting me. I would feel Him come close, and I could sing that with no problem. But what had happened is we had a preacher that came to our church, And he gave this word, he gave this teaching, and I was actually quite confronted by it, and it brought a lot of confusion in my heart, because I was very literal. I really focused on the words and the meaning in a literal level. My reason was so strong, and I'm trying to make reason of this. And he said, how can we sing these songs that speak about asking for more of the Lord, asking Him to fill you up, when He's already inside of us, when His fullness is already within us? He is a living fountain. The Bible speaks of a river from our bellies that flows constantly. And He's filled us up to the full, and He's done a complete work inside of us. And which is all true. So I was really trying to understand how this guy's completely right. He's right in saying what he's saying. How, if I've already received the fullness of God, I'm constantly, He doesn't run dry. He doesn't run out. He's a constant stream inside of me. How can I be asking for more? How can I be singing this song that says, fill me up, when He's already filled me up? He doesn't run out. And I would get so caught up in this that I was unable to enter into intimacy with the Lord during worship, or I couldn't connect with the Spirit because my head would be reasoning. Should I sing this? Should I sing this? Is it wrong to sing it? How can I sing this? I couldn't make sense of it. And my mind was so occupied. It became such a distraction. It became such a stumbling block in my times of worship, being so absorbed by this conflict. And I'll get back to this conflict. We'll resolve the conflict in a moment. But before we do that, I was filled with guilt, filled with shame. Before we go and resolve this conflict, the point I'm actually trying to make is, when we want to engage the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, with reason and in a headspace, in trying to understand Him with our earthly capacity, it's almost as if we bomb out, because He's Spirit, and He quickens our spirit. He awakens our spirit, so that we can understand with our spirits, understand things of the Spirit, grasping with our spirit. See, the thing is this: God is constantly inviting us into relationship with Him. To engage with the Spirit, we have to know Him. To engage with the Holy Spirit, who is our counselor, our comforter, our strength, our standby, our advocate, we have to know Him as the counselor. We have to be able to hear His voice. He must lead us. We have to be able to engage with the Spirit if He is to be all of those things to us. Now, think of any relationship that you might have in your life. I want you to think of two different types of relationship. I want you to think of a formal relationship that you may have, typically a work relation, a boss, or somewhere that's distant, a relationship that's distant in terms of formality. You know what time you have to show up at work, for example, for this boss, wherever. You know exactly what's expected of you. You got to be there at 8 o'clock. You got to be dressed in a certain way. You got to have these things with you, and you got to have these things on the table, and you can leave at this time. If you don't do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. It's all laid out in a very easy to understand, non-complicated rule book, if you will. But as soon as a relationship is not defined in these absolute terms, it becomes a little bit more difficult to navigate that relationship. For example, if you look at a marriage relationship, or a relationship with a child, with one of your children, or a deep friend, it's not so easy, right? It's harder to navigate that kind of relationship where you have to feel, where you have to trust, where you have to open up and be vulnerable, where you have to be willing to give and receive feedback, where you have to be willing to risk your heart, risk your feelings, risk your emotions. There's so much more at play in that kind of relationship. So it's easy to follow rules. It's easy to follow a rule book in relationship, but it takes so much more out of us to follow out of love, out of a true heart response, out of a deepening relationship, right? And that's I think that's why we so often revert back to rules. We revert back to, okay, don't ask me to trust, just tell me what to do, Lord. It's like the Israelites, they closed their ears. They didn't want to be faced with the presence of God. They were wanting something tangible that they could follow. They wanted an idol or whatever, or a king that they could see, or rules. It's easier to follow something you don't have to risk as much. There's no hurt, a risk of hurt. There's no need to trust because you just know what the outcome is going to be, right? That's why we so easily revert back. But the Lord is saying, if you will lean into relationship, if you will build on relationship, if you will learn to trust me and receive what I have for you, the reward of that kind of relationship is overwhelming. It's depth, it's reciprocated love, it's reciprocated joy. Think of those valued relationships that you have in your life. Those ones that take effort, those ones that do hurt you, and those ones that do make you angry. What is the deep reward of those relationships? It's safety, it's belonging, it's love, it's enjoyment. That's the kind of relationship God is calling us into. And that does not happen in a head space. It doesn't happen in reasoning the things of the Spirit. It happens in engaging the Spirit first. And we can read a lot about this in Romans 8, where Paul speaks about engaging the Spirit, or pleasing the Spirit, or living from the Spirit first. Now, coming back to that tension, I do want to resolve that tension, just for in case there is maybe some of you that have had that same thought, but hey, how does this work now? How do we sing songs that say, fill me up, when we are already full? Now, the Lord actually showed me that I was trying to understand something of the Spirit. I was trying to discern it with my head and discern it here in my mind. But the moment I let go, I literally felt the Lord tell me, get your head out the way. Get your head out the way. And for me, it was a very personal moment. Get your head out the way. And it's almost as if I just said, God, I want you. I want more of you. I want to feel you in my life. I want to see you every day. I want to see you manifest. And the moment I started uttering these things from my spirit, worshiping in spirit, it didn't even matter what the words were. It didn't even matter whether I was singing, fill me up. I even left, I went off lines. I often, if you stand next to me in worship, I'm very seldom actually singing what is written on the words. It didn't matter what the words were doing, because the heart response, the spirit response was, Lord, I want to be yielded to you. I want to see more of you in my life. I want to see more of you manifest in my life. And the words were irrelevant. The words didn't even make a difference. Now, obviously, I realized later that the word fill me up, Lord, it's just a cry of the heart. It's a poetic cry out for more of the Lord to be manifest in our lives. It's a yielding so that we can see more of Him happening. He's not going anywhere. He doesn't run dry. He doesn't leave us. His Spirit is always within us. But the more we yield to Him, the more we open up for Him to work through us, the more we experience Him. And there are times in the Bible that we can read that speaks of the Holy Spirit coming to fill and coming to impart the disciples, the apostles, even after they've already been filled with the Holy Spirit. So there are times where the Spirit comes and rests on us and we feel this manifestation. We suddenly feel like, whoa, something is coming out, or words are coming out, or we're led to give a word to someone. And those are times where the Spirit just falls mightily on you and you're speaking out. And those also happen, but there's nothing wrong with singing, "Fill me up, Lord." What you're actually just saying is, Lord, I want to see more of you. I want to see more of you at work in my life. I wanted to end with a quick story. Recently, I've gone to see the doctor about my heart rate that spikes a little bit while I'm doing exercises, while I'm working out or running. And basically, she's put the power in my hands and said, you need to keep this heart rate below a certain tempo, below a certain amount. And if you know me, you'll know it's the hardest thing for me to now have to take that power, use self-discipline and restrain. If you know me, I'm like, it's either on or off. I struggle with medium. I'm either all the way there or not there at all. I can work flat out and I can rest flat out. I can give everything and I can also just not do anything. It's very easy for me to live in the extremes. But to now somewhere have to go in the middle where I have to regulate something by myself. It requires so much more energy. It requires so much more persistency and so much more having to be deliberate and decisive about something and intentional about something. So now I have to read whatever symptom is coming my way and I have to hold back. Or, okay, I can give a bit more here. I have to now, according to feeling, according to what's happening inside of me, move. Decide to run a little bit harder or give a little bit more or hold back. And that's sort of what it's like being led by the Spirit, where you hear and you're listening and you're regulating and you're asking the Lord, okay, God, am I doing this right? God, what do you think of this? Lord, show me this. Or am I doing it right? Or give me words so that I can have peace. Or Lord, I need your joy in this moment. That's what it means to walk with the Spirit and not leaning on or relying on rules of what's been done previously or ways of just that's bypassing our hearts, it's bypassing our spirit. And I want to encourage each one of us. I want to encourage you and I want to encourage each and every person listening. Lean into the Spirit. Build into the Spirit. Build that relationship that requires you to listen and obey. Do and feel the reward of that deepening relationship. When we stay reliant on habits or simply doing something to tick a box, to feel good about going to church or feel good about reading don't just read the Bible for the sake of reading the Bible. Read the Bible to receive from the Lord a word personal for you. Worship to engage with the Lord. Receive the word on a Sunday morning, but ask him what's he doing. Not asking what's he saying. Asking what is he doing inside of your heart, inside of your spirit. And keep your spirits quickened. Keep your spirits awake and moving and active and engaged. So that when the Spirit imparts, that it won't blow over your head. And that you won't look around you and wish you had it. But that it will sink into your spirit. That your spirit is so alive and quickened by him. By the Holy Spirit, the Comforter, the Advocate, the Counselor, the Strength. So I encourage you, go spend some time in Romans 8. Go dig into that piece and go read what it's all about, living in the Spirit. living surrendered and controlled by the Holy Spirit. Ladies, friends, let's win, yielded to the Spirit. I hope this blesses you. May you have a wonderful week. Bless you.